Okie dokie. Right then, let's get to it a little bit. Well, welcome back, guys. Welcome back. I don't think we got Chris today, so all right. Really quick, Curvy, have you chosen your cantrip yet?
I'm restricted to because I clicked on it.
Yep.
On the thing, and then I imagine it filtered properly to be the ones that I can choose from. If so, it's either Booming Blade, Chill Touch, Firebolt, which I already have, Green Flame Blade, Ray of Frost, and Shocking Grasp, right?
That sounds about right. They all sound like attack rolls, so.
I'm torn between two.
Okay. Okay, while you choosing that, oh, go on.
I'm gonna go with Chill Touch.
Chill Touch. Okay. Chill Touch is now on your sheet. Okay. Yeah. All right. You also leveled up, so you get 2 spells to add to your spellbook. So make sure you figure those out as well, and let me know.
Oh fuck! I thought because the whole like focus last time was like, hey, you can choose a feat level 4. I didn't realize we also had to choose new spells.
As a wizard,
yeah.
Every level, 2 new spells. So.
I know, it's like a book with spells.
And then you 3 spellcasters also, because you leveled up, you also get an extra prepared spell. So just prepare an extra spell. Go ahead and do that.
Oh, sick.
Also, and I added all the level 2 spells to your list, so you're gonna see a lot more spells than you previously did. So just
hot.
Okay.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Everybody's leveled up. Everybody's good to go. All right. Don't long rest or anything. Just that hasn't happened yet. All right. So.
Oh shit.
I sorted you out. Don't worry, because you're a ding dong.
I was about to say. Wait, I think I did at the end of our last session, didn't I?
I didn't see you long rest.
Hold on a second.
You've still got spells missing, so.
Oh, you're chill.
I'm showing all 4 of them. Oh no, okay, that my second levels. Okay, yeah.
All right. Okay, so a recap, shall we? This music's a bit spoopy. Let me put something else on. Okay. There we go. All right, so you guys have the worthy, the party that has been infernally marked by the Lord of the Hells, accidentally, pretty much, have been on a little bit of an adventure, hunting down. Initially, it was, trying to find out who this murderer was, which they found to be this Cambion, who was posing as a floor keeper in the Great Library of Balinor, named Casimir, who discovered the infernal runes on the nape of your necks. You discovered there was a big old cult infestation in the city as well. And since then, after he stole this infernal book, the infernal map, and teleported out of the library, you met up with Belgraw, your wizard friend from the Daedalian archive, went to the safe house, did some scrying, discovered a plan, because old Casimir didn't seem like he could get through these massive stone gates of what you assume to be Kazaf, the lost infernal city of Asmodeus. And you discovered his plan to contact this group, this little kind of spooky boogeyman group known as the Whispers. to get these arcane batteries from them. These technological marvels that would be able to hold raw arcane ether. But unfortunately, the way they got that is by kidnapping druids and wizards and sorcerers and essentially holding them captive and extracting them of their raw arcane magic until they were expired and then disposing of them. One of those people that had been kidnapped was Enna's brother. And so you made it your goal to kill 2 birds and with 1 stone and head to where you believe they would be, which was Dreadstone. So you headed there. In the process, you saved a baby from a whisper attack in a village. And then headed through a tunnel where you nearly got crushed, but you managed to get out of there. And then did an infiltration into the belly of the beast. You snuck up through the kitchen floor. Didn't roll too great on stealth, and the dragon man put on one of the masks that all the elves were wearing, and didn't go too great, but it was a good attempt. But as that happened, as you got discovered, the messenger sent that you saw in the scry, sent from Casimir, arrived at Dreadstone and began talking with what looked to be the leader of the Whispers, and they headed off to discuss this deal for the batteries, giving you a chance. And so you rushed off, managed to find the dungeons, while also Pip sucking up every battery he could find using his bag of holding, yeah, like a vacuum. And you headed down into the dungeons and assaulted the warden, essentially, with some good stealth rolls. Who the warden then went round and turned on all the little arcane jail cells that are used to drain all the mages. But eventually you kind of wrapped her up in a chains and took her down, and freed all but 1 of the hostages. You freed Enna's brother. You freed Belle's husband, the lizard folk, and 2 more individuals that you haven't yet made introduction to. And then sucked up all the rest of the batteries you could, while leaving some and blowing your way out of there, as you left them all in one of the rooms and turned it on and used it as a nuke, kind of, and Pippenheimer was born as you kind of broke out the back exit through like a tunnel that Belle's husband kind of pointed out that he was in a cell as he had previously tried to make an escape. And as you got outside, the Whispers were kind of raining down arrows on top of you. You'd already contacted Belgraw for an escape. All you needed to do was find a clearing and get some lights in the sky. These arrows were coming down, so Zaxxon pulled a patch off his robe of many things and pulled a rowboat, and used that as cover as you all fled through the forest. Pip dropped some arcane bombs, and Chuck did the dad from the Olympics and shot them, and fucking caused another fucking nuclear explosion to go off in the forest, killing a bunch of Whispers. And eventually a storm clouds rolled through, and thunder and lightning began striking the Whispers behind you, before you all held on to Zaxxon and were picked up by kind of greenish thick hands, and you saw white wings. And Doug, the angel, from the safe house in Balinor, picked you up and asked you if you were going to eat some scrambled eggs. And eventually he's brought you to out of the Deadwood, out of the very gloomy area, finally back into some sunlight, and has dropped you next to a very beautiful looking river where you see Belgraw kind of sitting, resting by the side of the river, and has laid you all gently down by the side of the river. And as you kind of all get down, you all kind of take a breather. And finally, you're kind of next to this river, but in the distance, even though this beautiful area surrounds you all, you look off to your northeast, and you can see what you piece together pretty quickly is this gigantic mountain range with clusters of mountains close together with big black peaks that go right up into the clouds. You gather this is the Horn Peak Mountains. This is what you've heard. This is the mountain range that's somewhere hidden in there. Supposedly, it's Kazaf. What would you like to do?
Go ahead. Can I get those eggs now?
Fuck. Yeah, I think he's actually gonna probably just be like laying on the ground after having been flown out, just sort of trying to rest and relax for a sec.
And just with her brother looking him over.
Okay. Okay. I really need to run to the bathroom pretty quick, so I'll be right back.
Sure.
I'm sorry,
you're
guys.
fine. Gives me time to finish eating.
Is there audio coming from
I hear music.
thing? Oh, I don't. What the heck?
Is your tab muted?
No.
Uh,
That was the first thing I ended up checking. Oh, okay. I hear it now. I muted and then unmuted.
Yeah, the audio in this program is a little scuffed sometimes. The Horn Peak Mountains. Fuck.
it's very horny.
Okay.
Good morning.
So,
Wake up. Time for sex jokes. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm back.
bro, I've been telling him all night. What do you mean?
Okay. So, you've all landed. Belgra's like, fucking hell, you lot look rough. Well, it's good to see you all. How did it go?
We did it.
What does it fucking look like?
He's actually just laying down, sprawled out in the grass near the river, just sort of looking up.
Chuck's not there.
Chuck's,
And it's like over. Yeah.
Chuck's asleep.
Chuck is just straight sleep. He collapsed in the boat.
He's in the
and
boat.
and it has tucked him in. He just gonna sleep. He gonna get a little rest. He did hard work.
Belgra kind of comes over and pats you all on the shoulder, kind of looks over at the hostages, but he kind of looks past you all at the hostages that you've brought with you, past your brother, and you see like a dark look come over his face.
Oh.
And what you kind of, in your relief, as you kind of got here, failed to notice was the kind of elven woman with the kind of reddish hair that was in one of the cells at the far end. You see now, not standing, but kind of slumped against a rock, and you see 3 arrows in her chest and 2 kind of sticking out of her back.
Oh no.
As she kind of lies there, unmoving.
Okay. And it's gonna rush to her. Check for any signs of life.
Gonna make me a medicine check.
Oh,
Oh,
Hey, we starting off big, boys.
damn.
Unfortunately, this woman is dead.
Okay.
Belgirl
Eyes are
walks
open, I'm gonna
over.
close them.
Belgirl walks over. Kind of bends down, squats down. I know this woman. This is, Elena Redcloak. He kind of looks over at Doug at this point, who's... For the first time, Doug has a stern expression and is looking at Belgor. And Doug just looks back. And he just says, quite simply, "Don't you ask me to do it, Belgor. You know I don't like getting involved in this stuff. Especially not that."
Oh.
Okay, I won't.
Go on, Saxon.
Okay. I was gonna, if I can make an insight check to see if, like, I can glean what he's hinting at.
Sure, make an
Right.
insight check.
No idea.
It's hard to read, though when he said that, he nodded at the body of this elven woman. But Belgor kind of turns to Doug and walks over. And it's like, "Listen, Doug, I understand, but she's one of us. She's a mage. And I won't ask of you again." And Doug just shakes his head. But then stands up begrudgingly and walks over with a somber stroll and gently lifts up this elven woman. And you begin to hear the sounds of... You kind of heard them a little bit before this. But you begin to hear the sounds of, like, ravens cawing off in the distance close by. Some from the nearby trees. And Zaxxon and Anna, with your passive perception, you spot some close by. And Doug just gently lifts up this woman, this Elena, and picks her up like great. This guy's massive. Like, he just lifts her up gently in his arms and begins wading out into the river slightly, and just lays her body in the pool. It's not like a big tide, but he stops her from moving and begins plucking out the arrows. And you watch as he's not doing this, but fog begins to like roll in, and the kind of sunset where you were is becoming harder to see. A darkness begins to like roll through. And as this fog kind of rolls over top, the sun barely piercing through, the sound of these ravens kind of cawing. You start seeing some on the trees and the branches. You probably see about a dozen. And Doug turns to Belgror one more time and says, I gave up this life a long time ago. Is she really that important? And at this point, not just looking at Belgrade, but looking at the rest of you all for an answer.
I think I, at this point, sort of just like sitting up a little bit. I'm gonna look at Belgrade. Who is this woman to you?
Lena, she's not from here. She's from Nemir, the the wizard capital of. You've heard of it, I'm sure. Most of you have. Nemir is like the magocracy. This is the place where, like, this is the country on the west coast of the Rift. So the Rift is like the big kind of continent divide here, and on the west side is mostly ruled by wizards, and that country is called Nemir, which is where Pip is from. And he says, Elena's from Nemir, but she's part of a group called the Iron Vice, a notorious group of mages, wizards. She's powerful, but the Iron Vice is rather outspoken against the holy cities and the Pantheon. Not much of a religious portion, as you can guess. Now, to be honest, war has been brewing for a long time now between Nemir and the holy cities. People have been talking about it for decades, but over the past few years, it feels like every day something's going to break out. So, she was a big figure. She was out near every day trying to convince the people of Nemir that they should cross the rift and, stop. Holy shit, it's like she's strong-willed and powerful at that. So when she went missing, most of us just assumed she was a political hostage or worse. Apparently, we were wrong.
And you, Belgrade, you want to keep this Elena alive. I would imagine your interests align, at least in some way.
I think to be held up and drained of all your potential for so long just to be shot with an arrow is nowhere to go. But I think she could. I think if we've got the chance to help somebody, we should. That's my thought.
I'm gonna look away from Balgror. Still talking to Balgror, but I'm looking at Gabriel. It would sort of be ironic to live your life against the holy cities and their gods, that pantheon, only to be either empowered by or brought back to life via them. And look up at the birds. Oops, sorry.
There's birds.
The birds are chirping.
The birds are chirping.
Gabriel just tilts his head at him.
Me personally, I lived a lot of my early life in service to one of those gods, well, at least a sort of one. But this is not my choice, nor is it my quarrel. Not anymore.
Gabriel, for the first time, will remain silent.
You know, Pip, any thoughts on whether that woman should live? You're from Namia, Pip. Do you have any thoughts?
Hold on, I got a phone call. I'll be right back. I'm so sorry. Terrible timing. Hold on.
No.
She must be cleansed. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Gabriel will walk over to the person holding them. The big giant man.
Yeah.
The angel and Doug.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's going to take a personal inspection of just visually of the body he's holding.
Okay.
She dead dog. She dead.
What are you looking for?
Is she tainted?
There are elements of the mage plague, not necessarily, not like fully consuming, but she clearly has been pushed to her limits. But at the same time, I'm not going to make you roll for this because this is your character. But you can tell that she is, like, if it was anybody else, like, they would be covered. But because she, as Belgro claims, is quite a powerful mage, you just see, like, elements of, like, you know, have you seen, like, when people put, like, light electricity through wood and they get, like, that electricity burn? She has, like, electricity burns, like lightning burns up her neck, and she has a bit of bark coming up round the other side, and you just see, like, glimpses of it. So you see, like, elements of it, but it seems to be restrained.
So wait, her being a captive for so long brought on the plague because she was
Because they were exerting her so much, yeah.
Yeah, because they were sucking so much. Okay, that's rude. He didn't ask for any of that.
Brother.
I think the only thing I am really considering is, while it does sort of go against what I know to be my way of life, having a powerful ally could be of use. Somebody of influence. Somebody of, at least what Balgro said, her caliber.
My question is, will she come back right? If she's been subjected to torture for as long as you say, What kind of life are we bringing her back to?
Hmm.
Gabriel leaned down to Belgror and kind of points like weakly with his cane at like the like reaching up on Doug and like show like kind of like basically like laser pointing all like the markings of the mage plague.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "How long has she been sick? Before you remember?"
He kind of looks at you, and for the first time, there's a little bit of like, it's a little bit of like frustration coming through, that I'm not gonna make you roll an insight check for.
A little bit of resentment.
And there's,
Mhm.
and he looks at you and says, "You know, most folk don't choose to get sick. So
That is true.
when I shot her, she was fine.
How long ago was that?
I shot her talking out in the mid about a year ago."
She could be a risk. That's not supposed to come off.
Hmm.
We need if you believe that she truly should be spared, there's probably something we can do.
We shouldn't
No.
condemn her to death just because of what might be.
Hmm. Though, some would say that it is wrong for us to make bargains or what have you, and he looks at Doug with death. So,
Let's be real. People are brought back from the brink all the time.
hmm,
And given what we know, we don't even know if it'll work.
I am undecided. This woman preaches about the lack of needing or wanting holy cities, and I am from one, or at least an offshoot of it. But at the same time, having someone on our side like that could be something. So if we spare her, I suppose we'll find out.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
Welcome back. So what's Pip's take?
I have no idea what's been discussed this whole time.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
well, no,
My
you're
headset
fine.
wasn't on. I was on the phone.
We're debating on whether or not to urge Doug to bring the elven woman back to life. She is showing signs of the mage plague. But yeah, we're just trying to like
Unclean.
She's
uh
from the mirror.
yes,
She's
a
a
very
part of it.
powerful sorcerer.
Yeah, she's
Rests.
part of a group called the Iron Vice. She, is campaigning against the holy cities.
Ooh.
Can I nonchalantly press my cane onto her and cast Spare the Dying?
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know if she's past a certain point, but
Yeah, you can do it anyway.
just while poking at her.
Poking at me. Also, Anna thinks that she should at least get the chance.
Sorry.
because our wizard friend here has never turned his back on us. We shouldn't do it to him.
Hmm.
If we want to talk business, I mean, he did save us.
At every turn when we've asked for help, he's been there. Even against his better judgment, even at risk of his own safety.
Fucking bird.
I will let you lot make this call. Gabriel, this is your territory as far as I'm gonna look around at the fog and the birds. And Pip, you're from Namir. You too.
I think we do it.
Easy ends.
Right.
Birds? What do you mean birds?
I'm gonna flick the beak of his mouth, nod towards Doug.
Belgro looks at Doug and just gives him a nod. And Doug just lets go of the woman on like the surface of the water, letting her float, her lifeless body and her cloak just resting there. Her like long, kind of reddish hair just floating back in the water. Kind of peaceful looking. Though ominous with the fog and the birds surrounding. Barely any light coming through at this point. Just streaks of sunlight from the sunset just piercing through. And Doug gives a heavy sigh and doesn't say anything, but turns to Elena, rests his hand over top of her, and just kind of runs his hand like over the top, like not touching her, but just runs his hand from her head to toe, and he closes his eyes for a moment. In a blink, his eyes open and golden light flows out. And he reaches out his hand as if to grab something material, like a spear or a pole or a weapon. And as he does so, as he swings his hand round above Elena's body, the fog breaks above, and a beam of pure sunlight breaks the fog and pierces down into Elena's body. And Doug stands there grabbing this ray of sunlight and just holds it. And it's like vibrating, and he just holds it there as his other hand comes over and like opens her eyes, and her eyes begin to glow too. And you begin to hear the ravens cawing around you. The sky grows darker, even though this sunlight is illuminating the area. The sky begins to darken around you all. And you all kind of hold your breath, awaiting a breath. As the sunlight begins to dim and fade, as the pillar of light fades back up into the sky above, and the fog recovers. Doug's eyes go back to the cloudy white of before. And Doug awaits a breath from Elena. His shoulders slump, his wings relaxing at his side. And he turns to Belgror. I don't think she's coming back, boss. And as he says that, you notice the eyes of the ravens around you begin to open blue. Like this spectral blue. And you see them kind of fastly flying around you in the area. And there's this like element of, are we being like circled right now? As the like all these ravens on trees, their eyes all start to glow blue as you watch a breath from Elena. Not a breath, but an expulsion. As you watch a blue, kind of translucent form of her begin to rise ever so slightly and gently from her form. It kind of rises, her body still floating on the water, and floats slightly above her body, and you see a translucent version of Elena, hair flowing and kind of gliding on its own, but her face is twisted and contorted, haunted even. And you see she turns and looks towards the Horn Peak Mountains in the distance and begins to glide towards them. What do you do?
What?
Well,
Fuck.
Wait. So her soul has literally just left her body and is now headed towards the gates of Kazeth. Is that what I heard?
It looks like what looks to be her soul, if you will, has exited her physical form and is headed towards the Horn Peak Mountains.
A non-corporeal version of her. Okay,
Correct.
so we clearly can't grab hold of her.
She's not moving fast. But you realize now that it's the raven's like eyes as you kind of see these like little strings of the blue light that is kind of reflecting off her form, that seem to be allowing you to see this happen. Like the only reason you're seeing her form right now is
Because
whatever
the Raven Queen is willing.
whatever light is coming from these ravens.
I don't like fucking around with death, alright?
Doug, what the fuck is that?
I ain't really dealt with much like this before. Anybody I try and bring back comes back.
Wait, is that why people can't be resurrected?
Belgrade, I told you. and Doug looks pissed, and Doug just fucking takes off. Doug's in the clouds. Doug's gone.
We're
But
clearly not in any shape to follow.
Her, as she's floating away, does it seem like this is a thing that this form wants to be doing, or is it's just doing?
Everyone go ahead and make me, including you, Zaxxon, make me a either a perception or an insight check here. Okay, that'll do it.
Nice. We're doing perception or insight?
Perception or insight, yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Okay.
Jesus.
Damn. Okay. Everyone but Gabriel,
Yeah.
in your own way, I'll say, Pip, you somehow have insight into this spectral form, and managed to kind of read her feelings in this moment. Like body language is like she is trying to stay with her body. Like she's not trying to go the direction she's going. And Zaxxon and Anna, and you notice that too. But I'll say you also notice like these tiny like tiny pulls at her dress frills at the bottom, like towards the mountain, like just these tiny little like ethereal strings just pulling ever so slightly,
She
like
doesn't wanna go.
nearly
She doesn't-
like impossible to notice, but you guys rolled
she
really well.
doesn't wanna go. She doesn't want to go. We can't let her go.
She's headed. Wait. If she's headed towards the
Yes.
Hornpeak Mountains, don't get me wrong, this is a terribly horrible thing to think, but I don't know how long these birds will stick around, but we can at least get a sense of direction if she's going there.
We're not in any condition to follow her straight to where they're at. I know exactly what you're thinking. I thought it too. It's just Chuck is immovable. He is literally an immovable object right now. We have injured my brother, the others, us. We all are exhausted and need rest.
I agree.
But she doesn't want to go.
You see her like her face is turned towards you all now, contorted and twisted, and like all you hear is these like whispering, and then you hear, "Help me."
Oh, hell no.
And then at the same moment, Gabriel, nearby, only you hear this, but one of the ravens, you hear a similar echo. As she says, "Help me," you hear, "Help her."
Oh jeez.
Oh God.
No! I'm literally gonna yell at her. How? How do we help you?
No response. She's like in the middle of the river at this point.
We brought her soul back.
I don't have anything.
We brought her soul back to her body. Her body is now alive, and it's being dragged away from it. I'd hate to say it. Maybe she stays dead so she doesn't end up in that place. Otherwise, she'll just be a soulless husk.
He is right.
I think we're past that point now. It's literally her soul being pulled to the gates. And if what I suspect is correct, DM, stop me if I need to. Maybe that's why the others couldn't be resurrected either. Because their souls had been sucked to the gates.
I think Jackson would probably just kneel and sort of quietly, just to himself, whisper prayers to Bahamut, just trying to glean anything, if anything at all.
I have nothing. There's no spell that I can think of that can hold her in this form.
Where's the body currently?
The body's like at the edge of the river, and then she is like floating in the middle. She's like, you want a map?
Yes.
I can give you a map,
Yes.
but okay.
Give this man some visuals.
There's a map.
That's not good.
It's never good.
Hey,
It's
listen.
never good.
No, I don't know what you mean.
I think Gabriel
Ain't no
made a
way.
cucky-wucky, bringing her back to 0. I think that was it. So good, he needs to fix his fucking problem.
Hip whips open his bag of holding,
Oh,
verifying there's still 7 arcane batteries inside.
If that's how many there were at the end of last session, then that's how
There
many
are,
there are
yeah.
now. Okay.
chuck one at her.
What are you gonna do? Nuke her back to? Oh my god, you're actually.
Oh
gonna
yeah,
nuke
we
her.
love the map.
Oh, that's.
Okay, so where is the
This is
spectral,
this is her body, and then the spectral being is like in the middle of the river, and she's like, and she's like floating in this way. So she's like heading away from you guys.
And it's gonna look to Belgrot and be like,
What did you say? I'm sorry. I'm very. What?
sorry. Oh, because he can't see it, right? Or
He can see. I just
No,
didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, I was gonna say you cut out in
Oh.
Discord.
No, that was me literally
Oh.
stuttering and stammering,
Oh.
stammering like.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
I have no spells. There's nothing that I can think of for us to stop her. She doesn't want to leave. She doesn't want to go. She's being pulled.
Jesus fucking
Okay. I guess Pip can try something. I don't suspect anything is gonna really happen here, but Pip is gonna get a little closer and cast Mage Hand, which is a spectral floating hand, and